funny. I was on mute, wasn't I? I caught myself. I caught myself. Oh my goodness. And you know what's even funnier? Poor Sarah's back there. And I'm telling her, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. She's like, what? I'm like, maybe restart. She's gone out like two times, three times, comes back, and it's my volume that's off. Yes, you heard me right. It's been that kind of a day, folks. But I was telling my husband a little earlier. I said, I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna sit down and relax, and I'm gonna have my show because I've been working hard on this show, and I've been working hard on showing up for these writers. And even though I had somewhat of a challenging day, we'll leave it there. I know that being in business for myself means I could go cry in the corner, but for not too for long. For too long. Wow. Yeah, it's that day. That's lovely. Tying up my words too. So I'm Nick. I am the founder of Guiding Brilliant Writers. I promise you that I proofread and edit a lot better than I just spoke. Um, and I am thrilled to have started this series, The Person Behind the Pen, in order to give the 62 co authors who have published with me the opportunity to read their chapter contribution live. So this would have been 75 co authors, but a few of them have, or more than a few, I should say, have come on and written for a second and a third time. That means so much, and it's to me not to think of people as metrics, but it is measurable metrics because it does, in fact, speak to the experience that people have and why they would want to come and experience that again. So, before we bring Sarah up, I am definitely going to bring up some comments and say hi to everyone. Hello, Jackie. Yes, I am going to give myself some grace. It's been a little bit of a tough day professionally, and that followed on the heels of a pretty rough day yesterday personally, with my little old man, 16-year-old Pokey, being pretty ill. So, oh, you're not late, lady. You're here. That's the important thing. Leslie, for you to say it happens, I totally would take that because you're my, uh, I want to say my host mentor. Now that you've invited me on to co-host every single Monday's Mind Over Matters, and I see just the kind of faithful audience you have, and the way that you're able to lead the conversation and make it so interactive. Uh, Thank you for telling me it happens. That gave me a vote of confidence there. Sharon, it's so lovely to see you. Thank you so much for being here for myself and for Sarah. We're excited to have you. All right, so we're going to get started in just 2 minutes because it does take time to read that chapter. And of course, the backstage link, I'm going to drop it now into the comments. So if you do want to come up and you want to ask Sarah any questions, but to share a little bit about Sarah. So I met her as a co-author in another anthology. When I decided to do mine, I reached out. So I reached out to a lot of people that I've co-authored with before, to let them know when I was working on something. And I was really happy she jumped at the opportunity. One thing that was very interesting about her story to me was her not even affiliation, but her love of music. A lot of people love music. I love music too. And I do find it in many ways uplifting and therapeutic, but I actually don't listen to music on a daily, believe it or not. I used to when I was driving to and from work, and it was my jam. And I was joking with my husband that, I paid for my Pandora subscription because I wanted ad free. So I was driving to and work listening to all my jams. And now that I'm home, I find myself, stopping to do this or stopping to do that. I might put on a couple of songs, but to say my playlist is running in the background, not really. So I love that this is happening now, especially throughout her chapter. She's going to share with you not just her love for music, but some of the lyrics to certain songs that really hit her hard. And it's a great reminder for me especially because I'm by myself a lot these days, working, on my own. Um, that's still there for me to lean into. So, without further ado, we're going to bring up Sarah to the stage. Hello, how are you? Thank you
I
so
am good. I'm so happy to be here. Hi, everybody. Jackie, Leslie, Sharon, Melissa. Happy to see you guys, Leslie.
good. And I know that you're a very busy lady because, well, first of all, I see your posts, so I know what's going on there with your socials, and then you have your live. And then also, I noted here that I wanted to congratulate you because you were taken on by HR for you with
Yeah,
Jason Forehand as the wellness director.
that's
That
right.
that is wonderful. I adore Jason. I
Right.
really and truly had a chance to meet him last month. Up and speak of him
There he
as he
is.
appears.
There's my buddy.
Well, look at that, Jason. We just mentioned you and
Your
HR for
ears are
you,
burning.
right? And that Sarah just joined right now as your wellness director. And I was about to say that, what an incredible opportunity. I had to meet him recently and his wife.
That's right.
Yes,
You
yes,
got to go
yes,
to the
yes.
event.
I
I saw
did.
that. I know. I'm so jealous.
Oh, goodness gracious. You will one day too.
I will.
There's just those people that you have to meet.
Yes.
And I now that I'm home and I'm able to rearrange my time a little bit better, um, one of the organizations that I really wanted to be able to lend more time to was HR for You. And, outside of my financial support and support on social media, I couldn't actually contribute anything from my skill set. So I'm looking forward to seeing how best I could continue to support there or show up more. Um, so, Jason, thank you so much for coming in.
Yes.
And Sarah, please share with us a little bit about what you do. I let the cat out of the bag and congratulating you on that already.
Thank you. Okay, well, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I live here outside of Richmond, Virginia. I've been here for a long time. I would definitely call this my home, even though I lived a lot of different places in my younger years. So I've been a practicing psychotherapist for over 15 years. I spent almost 9 years in public mental health and community services boards, and now I have 9 years. This May 16th is how long I've had my practice, which is pretty amazing. It's hard to believe I wouldn't go back, right? Like, Nick, you're just embarking on this like self-employment journey, but like I wouldn't trade it ever for working for anybody else ever again. So it's a unique hustle, but like it's a lot more rewarding because you're doing it for yourself and your cause and things you believe in and then the way that it works for you. So that's what's afforded me and becoming an entrepreneur and being self-employed. And I actually like work better, have better quality work that way, right? I have less burnout as a result. So you're gonna love it once you get used to like the difference of working for somebody else and then working for yourself. So that's like one part of my world. And then a few years ago, I've been trying to step into some other stuff because y'all, being a therapist these days is a lot. It's a lot. And I've been in direct care practice for over 15 years and I'm kind of tired. Working in the one-to-one space and having, 20 to 25 clients a week or more for 15 years is a long time. And so although I see myself like affecting change in that one-to-one space in psychotherapy, I really wanted to like reach more people. It's like, it's great to see that transformation. And I would love to see more people come to healing and transformation. So it led to me like pivoting into trying to do some other things. And it started with writing. So anybody that's familiar with Haro, Help Out a Reporter, that's where I started writing about 3 years ago. And I remember it was like, I think it was like towards the end of 2022, my first thing got published and I was so stoked about it because I finally felt like I could call myself like a writer for real. I've enjoyed writing my whole life. Before I wanted to be a therapist, I wanted to be a journalist. And so that really hasn't changed. I still really enjoy writing lots of things. So I write blogs now. I've been in 2 anthologies. I will be in 2 more this year. Stay tuned. Those are coming out. It's been a great experience. I've really enjoyed the anthologies as a way to like get get my feet wet, right, to kind of dive into what it means to like write like a full thing. And it's a little bit different than a blog. And so it's been great practice. And that's like one of the ways I try to reach wider audiences. And then like coupled with that, I do coaching and consulting, which is where a lot of my social media comes around. I also get to write for that too, just small blurbs, but it's still writing. So to be able to consult, to teach, to train, to speak, certainly to coach and to consult one-on-one, but mostly for businesses and organizations that want to learn more about this like trauma-informed care thing and how we get healing to the most people. And I would love to see a more healed world, a more healed and whole people that feel seen, heard, loved, and understood. And so everything I do, including psychotherapy practice, is an attempt to have that message reach the most people that it can, and for them to really like lean into that and recognize that it is available to you. Healing and wholeness is available to everybody. And so I'm really enjoying my work these days, trying to find the balance between all the hats I'm wearing, which you'll get, right? As an entrepreneur, you wear all the hats.
Yeah.
But it's great. Yeah. And so I've really been enjoying my work, and I enjoy writing. And so I'm really excited about this for you. I thought this is like a fantastic concept. I love the title of the person behind the pen. I think it's great. You don't really know, right? You read the words on the page, but you don't know much about the person. So I love this. Yeah, I'm really excited to be a part of it.
Thank you. That's really what I wanted to bring out. People are going to pick this book up and they may leave you a review. They may follow your content on LinkedIn. But will they ever really feel comfortable enough to reach out to you and strike up a conversation? This is a way for them to get to know you a bit better, and the things that you do outside of the theme that you wrote in the chapter. And hopefully in the comments, they can share comments, ask questions, and then, again, take that extra step towards maybe reaching out. So I want to tell you thank you because you are inspiring to me. You've been doing this, like you said, May 16th is 9 years. For me, May 6th is only 3 months. So that tells
me, get there.
That tells me it does. You do this, you're in for the long haul. Uh, you know, if it fills you up, you're going to find a way to keep doing it. And that's the truth. So,
That's the truth.
all right. Well, whenever you are ready to start your chapter, by all means, go right on ahead. Sarah's going to be reading from A Message to My Family. I'm Here and You Are My Legacy. This was published at Christmas last year and became a #1 international bestseller.
Yeah. So you want me to read the whole chapter? Okay. All right, here we go. I talk a little fast. I'll try not to as I'm reading, but if I am, somebody just like shout out and be like, hey, slow down a little bit. Okay, my chapter is called Music Saved My Life and Healing is My Legacy. So before I jump into this, about every section or like paragraph, I start with a music lyric that has helped me survive all the shit and pain in my life. And so that's where these come from. And in the last couple of years in my healing journey, they have been huge. Like I might just play the same song on repeat and belt it out because the words are like what I need to hear. So we're going to start each one with that. And then I'll say who it's by. So then you know that that's the end of the music quote, and then I go into my paragraph. So we're going to start with that. We're starting with all the 4-letter words. So everybody just be ready. This is how Sarah rolls. Everybody in this bunch knows that because they've worked with me. But yeah, you're going to hear all the 4-letter words, and we're going to start with one. So the first lyric is, fuck the cool kids, I am the Kubrick. And this is a Dirty Heads line. Dirty Heads is my favorite band. Legacy, what does it mean to you? Merriam-Webster gives 3 solid definitions. A gift by will, especially of money or other personal property, something transmitted or received from an ancestor or predecessor from the past, a candidate for membership in an organization such as a school or fraternal order who is given special status because of familial relationship to a member. I've landed on this one, something handed down from one generation to the next. The legacy given to me, Intergenerational trauma. Will this be the same legacy I leave and pass down to the next generation again? Nope, it sure will not. My legacy? Healing. Healing for me and healing for the next generation. And I'm going to tell you how I did it. I'm cutting through this bullshit with my switchblades and katanas because I've learned something from years of head hunting. If I got something to say, then I'm going to say something. A glutton for all these beatings and fighting for what I'm loving. If the whole world is throwing out spikes, I keep on trucking. Yeah. Another Dirty Heads lyric. I've dedicated my life to healing. I have endured much physical, emotional, psychological, and relational trauma over and over again. And that doesn't even count all the trauma I inherited from all the generations that came before me. It's likely that I endured so many of my own traumas because trauma was handed down to me. The legacy of intergenerational trauma will hopefully end with me. Then my family can move on to leaving a different legacy, one not of trauma, neither one of healing, one born out of a healed and whole future family member. Before we get there, though, I have to dedicate this chapter to healing, my healing, and healing is my legacy. Healing is what I leave behind for others to pick up, and music has been a huge part of my healing. Music has saved my life more than once. Blood on my tooth, still grinning, bow to the king. I am it, cloth ain't soft. John Lennon, plaques on the wall, but I ain't no dentist. Still Dirty Heads, guys. They're getting me through a lot. What is it I have to heal? Well, everything. You see, complex post-traumatic stress disorder takes over your whole being and warps you into something you weren't meant to be. For me, that looked like extreme fear and anxiety in relationships, perfectionism and people-pleasing, being easily knocked into emotion dysregulation, abject rage, workaholism, codependency, mental health diagnoses, illness and physical body issues, debilitating insomnia, isolation and loneliness, developing an exit strategy to create a new life, leaving this one far behind. Ultimately, all the trauma passed down to me and all the trauma I survived as a result of being primed for a life of trauma left me a vacant shell of who I was meant to be for almost half of my life. And I didn't even realize it. You just ain't quick enough on the draw, ain't fast enough to spar with Godzilla. You don't have the guts. Chris Webby. You see, that's what trauma does. Robs you of the life you were supposed to have, steals from you the essence of who you were supposed to be, and then replaces it with a frightened, wounded bulldog backed into a corner. Yeah, that's me, the bulldog, fighting my way out of the corner of oppressive trauma. Scared, injured, bleeding, half dying, and still fighting, trying to make my way out from under the weight of so much pain. I was fighting to survive my life and barely making it. Fighting for relationships, fighting for respect, fighting for validation, fighting for attention and attunement, fighting to be seen and heard, fighting to be loved and cared for, fighting desperately for someone to recognize my pain, for someone to hear my story, all of it, and say, that makes so much sense. You make so much sense. What you do and how you behave now makes so much sense if this is what you have lived through. I was fighting for my needs to be met. The fighting was killing me. My body started breaking down. My hair fell out. I got really sick, and then I had permanent nerve damage. I hadn't slept through the night in over 15 years. My life flashed before my eyes, and I remembered my mother, diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at age 48 and dying as a result at the age of 53. I am certain she died early because of unresolved and unhealed trauma that she carried around, never addressing it, never acknowledging it, never seeking treatment for it, and never healing from it. She died because of it, and I did not want to die. I'm fine with the fact that I ain't fine. If you see me coming, keep it running. Shit is hitting the floor. Dirty Heads. This occurred to me at the ripe old age of 37. I told myself I would not die in 15 years. I would not end up like my mom. I would not die a shell of myself without ever having really lived and without ever having the peace of mind to be my full self in all my complicated and myriad glory. So that was not going to be me. And if I was going to end up in a different way, I had to start living in a different way. Girl, I forgot you were the finest. I forgot how I used to boast. I forgot about your flyness, about the coolest fucking mama on the whole East Coast. Little Stranger. And then there's another one here. A little bit of hippie and a little bit of hip hop by Tropodelic. That's when I stopped fighting to get others to see me, and I started being compassionate towards myself. By this age, I had been active in my own therapy for nearly 20 years. I was a 15-year veteran psychotherapist myself. I thought I had been working on myself and my healing this whole time. And while, yes, that is true, it has not always been focused on the thing necessary to afford me actual healing and feeling wholly myself. Much of my early years in therapy were centered around learning to cope with my symptoms of anxiety, learning to manage my grief reactions, learning to manage my relationships better, essentially learning how to change myself, my approach, my behaviors, my sentences to make it easier for others to be around me. This was not it. This was not the work I needed to do to heal and become whole again, as I was intended to be when I came into this world. This work made it easier for others to tolerate me when I was not regulated or doing well. But none of this led me into healthy relationships where I felt seen, heard, validated, cared for, and loved. None of this led to figuring out what I love to do, what I love about others, what I love about life, what I love about myself. All of this early work led to management of the most wounded and difficult parts of myself so I could assimilate into society and show up as you're supposed to. And I fucking rocked it. I was so good about self-reflection, self-awareness, self-correction, and presenting myself in the most favorable ways possible in every context with every person I ever encountered. It's like always putting on your best face, even when you're just going to the grocery store by yourself. And I literally put on my best face with full face makeup every single day of my life because I thought I was to look put together, attractive, trendy all of the time. It was like I could never have a bad day, not a bad hair day, not a bad clothes day, not a bad emotional day. I am everything I said I am. Keep my shit tight, man. Motherfucking Hoover Dam. I won't be cracking anytime soon. My mind said it's fine-tuned and the world will be mine soon. Another Dirty Heads. Ultimately, this is trying to be perfect without realizing this is what I was doing. Perfection is impossible to achieve, yet somehow I got the message that it didn't matter and I was to try anyways. Try to be perfect anyway, all day, every day for 37 years. I've worked my ass off to be the best version of myself that I can be so that others would love me and remain in relationships with me. It didn't work, obviously. I was so frustrated that it didn't work. I felt so defeated when I realized nearly 20 years of self-work was a bit misdirected and never materialized into a result that I was looking for. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to make myself better so I would fit in the world. I'm the beast that y'all created. Call me all the shit I ain't. Y'all insulting me is like shooting bow and arrows at a tank. Still the captain of the ship. We still afloat. We never sank. And we're sailing to the bank. So salute or walk the plank. Chris Webby. Then with a little help from my bestie and a lot of help from my trauma-informed therapist, plus lots of reading, reflecting, and spending time with myself, it dawned on me. There is not enough adjustment I can do to myself to fit in the world. To fit in the world the way the world wants me to, or at least the way my world wanted me to. My world was family of origin, faith community, work, friends, or people I thought were friends anyways, spouse, local colleagues. I did not fit into this world. I did not fit with many of these people. And at the same time, there is nothing wrong with me. This first realization that there was nothing wrong with me, I was not broken or fucked up the way everyone always implied, was like the veil falling, vision clearing, and my eyes opening to myself, maybe for the first time ever. You see, much of what I was doing in the world and so much of what I was taught to do in the world was serving other people, whether formally through my employment as a mental health therapist or informally with my family and everyone else. I just do what they expect without question and without emotional uprising. What I wanted, didn't matter. My needs and desires were of no consequence. Just be, do, say, act the way we want and expect, Sarah. Then we'll be happy with you. Then we'll talk with you. Then we'll send you a gift on your birthday. Then we'll celebrate your achievements about 10% of the time. I was killing myself in unaware service to everyone around me and still not receiving the things I needed back in these relationships. not when times were good, not when times were bad. The amount I have shown up for other people is incredibly disproportionate compared to the amount others combined and collectively have shown up for me. And now it was going to change. I came, I saw through the flame, through the fog, through the hurricanes and the flood rains I fought. No love, no law, unplugged, all raw, and the ice in my veins is too cold to thaw. Outlast, outlive, outmatch, outdid anybody in my way. Fuck them, we go big. This one's for the kids, the rogues and misfits, and we came here to fuck up shit. Chris Webby. I've spent the last 2 to 3 years overhauling my life to find healing and wholeness once again, because I deserve it. I deserve happiness. I deserve health. I deserve reliable and loyal friends. I deserve love and attention from my partner. I deserve respect and validation from my family of origin. I deserve to live the life I want to live, as long as I'm not hurting others, without having to explain myself to anyone else. You see, once I stopped fighting to be seen by others, I was able to see myself in all of my complicated and myriad glory. Again, with a little help from my bestie and a lot of help from my trauma-informed therapist of nearly 8 years, and you know, the reading and self-reflection piece. I was able to validate myself, my lived experience, and the resulting negative impact of those lived experiences left in their wake. It was not who I was meant to be, and I was about to flip that reality on its head and open the pathway to self-compassion, self-validation, self-affirmation, self-care, and self-love. Through music, dancing, and rapping my face off loudly to all the lyrics peppered throughout this chapter, music saved my life in many ways, many times. When I put my headphones on, I'm a skeleton. Got no reason to be scared of anyone. Tropodelic. And another one. I ain't giving them the time of day. If they want to hate, let them find a way. Listen, I don't care what they say. I'm going to light the fuse and it's bombs away. Chris Webby. So how did I do it? How have I been able to find healing and wholeness once again? I stopped living for others and started living for myself. I stopped letting others tell me who I was and started reminding myself of who I was. I stopped doing things because people expected me to and started doing things because I wanted to. I stopped putting energy and effort into so many relationships, and I started putting energy and effort into the relationship with myself. I stopped apologizing for being a raging mess, because being a raging mess makes total sense because of my lived experiences. I stopped doing things on pattern, and I started doing things on purpose, with intent, intentional moves. I'm the maker of ace, breaking records of pace, and I need another win like the devil needs a fireplace. Honestly, I probably wouldn't be here in this place, able and willing to do this healing work now if it weren't for two things. The many therapists I've had over the years who guided me, listened to me, and cared for me, and most especially my current trauma-informed therapist. And two, being a licensed psychotherapist myself. You see, learning is my jam, lifelong learner here. I love to learn about things I'm interested in, and I've been interested in people, what drives their behaviors, and my relationships with people for my entire life. Hence the reason for going into this profession. So I have learned so much about mental health and wellness, the brain, neuroscience, neuroplasticity, anxiety, addiction, attachment styles, and codependency. The trauma we experience and the reactions they cause, complex PTSD. All necessary for my work as a therapist with individuals struggling with many of these things. I would likely never have dove headfirst into so much reading and learning about these things if it wasn't what I was doing for work. Clearly, there is a plan. God seems to have had a plan for me to be the one to break the intergenerational curse of passing down trauma as the legacy in my family. And cheers to the ones that hated me. Y'all made me the woman that I am. I'm thankful for those rough seas and those hurricanes in that front seat. But I pushed through just me, so trust me. I'm a ride on till the fucking fuel light's on. And I'm going to fight on, call me Tyson, fight till the lights go out. Chris Webby. Not only am I the only therapist in my family, I'm the only one who's been willing to go to therapy to address my issues. Almost zero blood relatives have ever spent any significant time in therapy addressing their issues. That's saying something. How does the one who's been beaten, bruised, chewed up, and spit out again and again become a mental health provider dedicated to helping others heal? How does the one who's been abused and neglected figure out how to get to therapy when no one in her family ever talked about mental health? How does the one who's been blamed for all the family problems and endured the perpetuated trauma within the family system find healing and wholeness once again? Well, I'd say there has to be a greater power working in my life. Someone who set me up to become a mental health provider myself so that I would value attending mental health treatment myself, learning about mental health and treatments for myself and my clients. I credit not being dead in a gutter today to the saving grace of Jesus. You see, I think there's a plan for me to be the indomitable one in the family, the one who never quits, the one who amazingly perseveres and endures despite the nearly insurmountable odds, the one who became a therapist to be a healer for herself and a healer for others. We're going to set the roof on fire just to watch the flame, kick the fucking door down through the wall and frame, fuck the rules and we off the chain, but so what? We're going to fuck shit up. Reporting live from the fuck up Hall of Fame. Can't believe through it all how far we came, yelling, fuck rules and we off the chain, but so what? We're going to fuck shit up. Chris Webby. You may still be wondering how exactly I did it. How exactly have I managed to embark on and continue on my healing journey? In addition to going to therapy, becoming a therapist, turning energy inward instead of outward, and learning to be compassionate towards myself, here's what I've been doing in my healing era. Getting creative. I started bullet journaling, telling myself I've never known how to draw, I'm not good at it, and doing it anyway. I started making bracelets for myself, then for friends, then just for fun. Part of my healing era includes my crafting era. Getting back in touch with things I enjoy. I started going to concerts again, lots of concerts. I started collecting stickers again, and I even have a sticker book to house them all. I started turning on music I like in my house while I do things in the evening or just hanging out at home. I take a walk with my dogs every day. I engage in healthy movement activities that work for me, like Zumba and yoga. I love little crunchy foods in a bowl, for real. So I enjoy getting crunchy snacks that I like and putting them in little bowls and eating my snacks while listening to music, watching a movie or TV. Part of my healing era includes my snacking era. As stated, I attend therapy regularly, read, reflect, journal, process regularly too. This lifestyle ain't fit for most. It's a cold world. Get thicker coats. In these shark-infested waters, you're going to need a bigger boat. Chris Webby. Yes, I take medications. They help, particularly with the 15 plus years of insomnia. And finally, after a year and a half of adjusting medications, I'm sleeping better, longer, and feeling more rested. And when cannabis was decriminalized in Virginia, where I live, I started consuming it to assist with sleep, anxiety, appetite, and relaxation. Big medicinal cannabis supporter. And yes, I also consume cannabis because I enjoy it at places like concerts, festivals, vacations on a Saturday afternoon at home. I make a point to go on vacation every year. I take long weekends or short trips too. I do so much more of what I want to do and do so much less of what I thought I had to do or what others expected of me. I set boundaries and make no apologies and feel little guilt. I no longer explain myself or my choices. I'm living for me for the first time ever. Part of my healing era includes my badass era. And badass era equal badass Sarah. And badass Sarah is jovial, funny, enjoys a good time and a good laugh, a quick-witted wordsmith, learns the rap of her favorite artist and shouts every word at every concert, writes her own raps, loves dogs and will drop almost anything to snuggle a puppy, loves surprises and new adventures, gives gifts and loves getting gifts, takes badass photos with her phone and turns them into wall art into her house, drinks coffee, dances her ass off every chance she gets, and loves big. And these days, she loves herself big. And that's how I did it, have done it, am still doing it, the healing part. I focus on what is for me rather than what isn't. And whatever isn't, I fill in my own gaps. I'm living my life for me for the first time ever, without apology, with peace of mind growing every day. Love over drama, nubs over bottles, dreams over settling, scars over models, lyrics over everything. My foot is on the throttle. We can get it in and I'll work out the rest tomorrow. Bumpin' Uglies. I've dedicated my life to healing. Everything is not resolved, but I have done the absolute very best I can to heal myself and contribute to the healing of others. That is my legacy, the legacy of healing. The legacy of healing intergenerational trauma for who knows how many generations pass. And this legacy of healing is available to you despite your origin story. Even if you had a different family system than mine, meaning we are not related, this legacy of healing is available to you. If you need healing, my legacy is where you will find it. So pick it up and then make your legacy the very thing you've always wanted it to be.
I don't have to tell you that you know how I feel about your chapter.
Yeah.
And I don't know um, what I should or shouldn't share. So you could just squelch me if you need to. But we are both, I know, very transparent. And I think everybody that has come through a writing process with me have, if not started completely vulnerable, have ended up leaving the project completely vulnerable.
Absolutely.
And vulnerable in the way of strength, not weakness.
And that's one of the joys of working with you, Nick.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think that in the beginning when you approach, and you did speak about it a bit in your chapter, because it was legacy and wanting to leave a legacy, you know, there are a lot of people that are writing a legacy to a children
Right.
or grandchildren
Right.
or things like that. And you have a different family dynamic, and many people out there have different family dynamics. They're the black sheep in the family who never see their family once they reach a point and they just move on with their own lives.
Right.
Um, I think we all, to some degree, have family that you spend a lot of time with, and those that you only see at gatherings. You know, you protect your space, not to hurt anyone else, but just for the sake of your own mental well-being.
That's right.
And so I wanted to ask what your experience was writing this on a personal level, knowing that this wasn't a book that, you know, for example, there was some in here who for Christmas knew they were going to order
Right.
the book and run and hand it to 30 family members
Right.
who would all praise them for writing a beautiful chapter and mentioning them. And I have writers like that. So I really want to know, I mean, if you're comfortable answering
I'll
what
answer.
your perspective was and how you felt penning this chapter.
Well, I remember in the beginning and like learning what it was all about. I messaged Sharon Byrne on the side, my other buddy, and was like, "What the heck are you writing about?" Was like, "Okay, I don't have children, and my family is a fucked up mess. So I'm gonna have to come at this from a different way." But I fleshed a little bit of it out with Sharon, and I'm like, "Do you think this is going to be okay?" And she was like, "Absolutely, do you? I mean, you know what." Everybody in this room knows what Sharon Byrne is like, right? And she's like a huge supporter of mine. I love Sharon. And so that was helpful in like getting my brain kind of going about how I was going to conceptualize this, knowing that like I'm not having children that I leave a legacy to. And I'm estranged from just about every blood relative that I have. So even though my brother has kids, like we don't talk very much, you know, and like some of my cousins have kids, but I don't talk to all them all that much, you know? And so I'm not leaving it for them. And so I guess once I got my brain on of like, I'm not leaving this for my family. So what kind of legacy do I want? And it really like had me thinking about it, I guess, in a way that I hadn't thought about it before. And it was like, well, what the hell did everybody leave me? They left me a bunch of fucking bullshit, you know, like to deal with, right? And it's like, I've been working my ass off for like 40 years of like trying to deal with this. And it's like, what would I want to say, you know, to somebody else who has a family that they are estranged from? And, but legacy isn't just for that, right? Like, and so I really wanted to speak to the people that have situations like me. I mean, this is why I step into healing, right? Like, and anybody that knows me knows that I'm very open, very vulnerable, very transparent, and I use a lot of my own experiences as examples. And some of that is because I can't talk about my clients but so much, but a lot of my experience mimic theirs, so then I just go with my example. And it's like, it's finally getting to the place, as I read in my chapter that I realize I'm not like this like fucked up self that everybody's implied, then it was just like, okay, once I've accepted that about myself, I'm not this just like crazy mess, people need an alternative. And so thinking about that, it's like, I've had to find a completely like different route. And this is not what I thought my life would be, y'all, like at all. About halfway through my life to this point, like it got flipped on its head when my brother was killed in Iraq. And then shortly after that, my mom died of Parkinson's disease. And it's like, I went off to college with one life and like into college with a completely different life. And so really considering like, well, what am I going to write about and who am I going to speak to? And it's like wanting to speak to the people that feel orphaned or familyless or adopted or anything where you just like are not feeling connected to blood relatives of any kind necessarily. And it was like, the holidays are hard for me anyways. Like it's just,
And it was a holiday book.
And it was a holiday book, right? And so everybody was all talking about like how great this is and like it's coming out and all this thing. And I was just like, my family couldn't give a fuck that I wrote in a book.
But
like
you know what? Your anthology family did. And this
that's right.
anthology would not be what it is finished without every single chapter in here.
And that's amazing to be a part of so many different stories. And it's right. It's like people have families that they could give it to at Christmas. And some people are like me and not. And the book is for everybody.
But you chose to say yes to something that could have been, that I think most may not have felt comfortable to contribute to because of the theme of the book and because of your circumstance. Yet you just left a legacy to a whole bunch of people who don't have anyone before them to have left them a legacy, and now they don't have somebody to move it forward to. So I wanted to look at it from that way as well. I did bring Sharon up, and you mentioned Sharon incidentally, and she was back here. So I want to bring Sharon into the conversation. Hi, Sharon. Thank you for waiting.
Hi, Sharon. So happy to see your face, love.
Hello. How are you, Sarah? Hi, Nick.
Good.
Thank you for having me. Okay. So first, I want to say that I am so grateful that you wrote this chapter, and I have read your chapter more than once, and I have heard it more than once. I believe I helped you edit it slightly, but not a whole lot. But the whole thing about this is when we had our conversation, Sarah, I shared a lot with you, and you shared a lot with me, and our roads are very similar. I'm the black sheep in my family. My family wouldn't admit that, but I admit that wholeheartedly now, and I don't try and make their reality my reality. My reality is my reality, and good for them for having their fantasy land and living in it. But the reason I bring that up is not to make this about me, but to say to you, I remember talking to you about how I was going to write a letter to my son, and you saying you don't have kids. And I said, no, you don't understand. I'm writing this letter to my son because we are the black sheeps in the family. Like he's related to the black sheep. And I wanted to write this to him, but also to all the other people that could learn from these lessons, because the lessons are more than just him lessons. And to that point, I didn't have family I could bring this book to. I did send the link to my mom and my sister, and they read it. But the amazing thing about it was they had no idea that what I think. Like it was like they were reading about a stranger for as much as they think they know me. So I just wanted to say to you, even people that have a family that aren't as estranged as you might be, you can still be estranged. It's like sitting in a room of 1,000 people, but feeling like you're by yourself. Absolutely. And I just wanted to say to you, for lack of a better way to say this, and I hope you take this the way it's meant, I am so proud of you
Oh,
for writing this chapter. We met through a writing experience with another anthology, and I am grateful that we have continued to write in different writing projects. I am now working alongside you with HR for You, and I am truly grateful for that experience as well. But I want to encourage you to keep writing, because I could have written your chapter. Pretty much everything you said in your chapter, with the exception of a few things, could have been me saying it about myself. We talked about how music has saved me and continues to save me, because what I can't say for myself, I can find in a lyric, or I can write it in a lyric. For whatever reason, I'm able to write my feelings better than I am able to speak them. So I just I couldn't not come up here today and just tell you how proud I am of you, and how proud I am of this chapter, and how much your chapter has meant to me personally and professionally. I've given it to some of my clients as well. Here, read this and be
And I
quiet.
was gonna say this
appreciate that. That's
is such
awesome.
a powerful chapter that this book is even something for you to share with your own clients, even if all they read was your chapter, because that just
I have
humanizes
literally
you even more and lends to your credibility of coming forward to where you are now, to be in this space where you are able to give this back to them. Sorry,
the
Sharon.
fact that you and I have talked about this, the fact that you and I are upfront with people and upfront with our clients that, hey, we're a lot healthier now, but we still believe in therapy. We still talk to coaches. We still talk to therapists, maybe not on a regular basis, or maybe not as regular as we used to. Maybe it's on a semi-regular basis, but I am a proponent of coaching and therapy. And I truly think everybody in the world should have to experience coaching and therapy at least once.
Right.
I really do.
Everybody can benefit.
So
That's how I feel about writing.
Yes.
No,
Or being published, I should say.
I love that. Yes.
But it should be published at
writing
least
for
once.
me, and I want to say this, Nick, because I came up to say this too also. Writing for me has always been very therapeutic. I have journals that are spiral. I'm dating myself, but they're 5 subject spiral notebooks, cover to cover, from cardboard cover to cardboard cover, no room to write anymore. I used to hide them. I used to hide them under clothes and whatever, because I didn't want anybody to find
Reading them. Yeah.
because I was afraid
Right.
of what they would say, you know.
But it was such a good outlet for you.
Yeah. And what I wanted to say is, I've now, seriously, because I had a different experience, I had the opportunity to win a chapter with a different publisher, and that reignited my love for writing. And it also said, hey, I am good enough to be published. My message is important enough. It wasn't even about the writing style. It was about the message. And I will never, I don't want to say never, but I am a repeat author with you for as long as you will have me, because writing with you is such a different experience than writing with so many of the other publishers that I've had the opportunity to write with. And I'm not taking away from anything, because that first chapter that I won from that other publisher, I wouldn't have been writing with you if I didn't have that experience, maybe, because that's how it's how everything connects for a reason. But I'm here to say to everybody here, if you haven't written with Nick, and you think you might want to write, you want to write, and you want to write with Nick.
That's right. Especially if you're afraid to write, then you want to write with Nick.
Yeah, it'll change you. It'll change it. It is a life-altering experience in a great way. That's all.
Thank you so much. Yes, I do. I think that people in general, like all of us, right? We can appreciate different experiences when we've experienced or we've been in a similar situation but had a different experience. And it actually doesn't speak to the situation so much. Sometimes it actually speaks to our personal growth and that we're evolving. And then therefore, as we evolve, we feel that we need to be in alignment, not necessarily with somebody higher or lower or next to, but we just need to be in alignment with a certain individual who's providing a service, for example, right? It doesn't mean that Sarah is in one of the top 10 therapists, or that Sharon isn't one of the top 10 coaches. Nick isn't one of the top 10 publishers. It's not about that.
Right.
It's about that alignment, because if you can't align like that, it doesn't matter what service somebody is offering. You will never be happy with the service. Even
Right. It
if
won't
it
have
gives
the
you
same
grudge.
kind of experience like in
Right,
doing it. Right.
right.
And that is part of the doing it, and then doing it with a therapist, a coach, a publisher. It's to have the experience with a person or group of people. Right. And doing
Exactly.
that. Yeah. It's not just about the work you're doing. It's about the experience you have while you're doing the work.
Yes, and that just hits right on the head for me because, like I said, I am building my own framework as a publisher, and I'm not in the business of books. I'm in the business of people.
Right.
No people means no stories. No stories means no books to publish. And I'm building an experience.
That's
And
right.
I want this experience to last beyond this project. I want the experience to last a lifetime. Whether or not you ever publish again, far less for whether or not you ever work with me again, but the experience has to be more than the experience of writing and getting to the point of publication. It should bring so much more to you. It should enrich your life so much more than that, I think. So just thank you so much, Sharon. I'm going to bring you down because I want to bring up Sarah's graphic with your QR code so people can scan and connect with you on LinkedIn, okay?
Great. Thank you.
And Sharon, I will talk to you a little later. Thank you so much for coming up to share.
And let me just say one thing
My
to
pleasure.
Sharon. I appreciate you saying that you're proud of me. I was just saying to my spouse a few days ago, it's not something I ever hear. Like, it's not something my parents ever said. It doesn't matter what I
I don't.
achieve. And
I
so
say it.
I appreciate it.
Well, I'm
I
glad because it's not something I hear a lot, and so I've learned to give it give it out to people. But that other thing I do say, and I'll just say this really quick, Nick, it's not just about me being proud of you. I really, and I say this to my son all the time, I'm proud of you, but equally and more importantly, I hope you're damn proud of yourself.
yeah, and I am. I
Well,
appreciate that.
as your publisher in this book, I want to say to you both, which I said before, I am very proud of you. And I am even prouder because you got up here and read your chapter, which takes it the whole other level
Yeah.
for people.
It was, yeah, I've never done that before. So it was like, how emotional is this
Good.
going to be? We never know. We never know when Sarah gets up, like me crying or screaming or whatever.
No, that was perfect. And it was read very well. All right. So, Sharon, I'm going to bring you down. Sarah, I'm going to bring that up for you because we have just about 5 minutes and I want to make sure people have a way to connect with you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sharon.
Bye, Sharon.
All right. All right, there we go. So please connect with Sarah on LinkedIn, scan the QR code, and give her a follow. Okay, so as we're wrapping up, please let us know what you have going on. This is an opportunity for you to share, well, the person behind the pen, other than the person that is a writer. What else does Sarah have going on?
Okay. So this is good. I am participating in a workshop called Rooted Resilience and Embodied Boundaries that's hosted by the affinity group that I'm a part of, the Trauma Informed Network of Professionals. Integrate Trauma Informed Network is what it's called. We are hosting this Embodied Boundaries workshop on May the 10th. It's a Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, 1 to 3 Central. Do the other time zone math. If you're in something else, thank you, Chasen. I love you so much. It's $50 and you get $10 off if you use code embodiment. So go to my LinkedIn and you can find it there. You can go to my website. It's if you go to my website, www.sarahobrienlcsw.com, it comes right up, the Embodied Boundaries workshop information for you to click on it and register. So that's that. I have another anthology that's coming out on May 17th that is also very near and dear to me and is probably going to be a powerful chapter. I keep saying it might be the best writing I've ever done. I don't know. But it is through anybody that is connected with Trina Scoggins on LinkedIn. He is the compiler and sort of creator of another anthology series called Stories of. And his first book was called Stories of Children Lost, and it compiles stories of parents who lost children. That's what Trennis lost his daughter unexpectedly 10 years ago. And that's what started him on this journey. And so his amazing publisher and whoever he's linked with wants him to do 10 more books. And so he is doing stories of on all kinds of things. And the one that's coming out in May is called Stories of Friends and Family Lost. And I wrote my chapter on losing my brother when I was 20 years old to the war in Iraq. And it's the story this is the thing that I've always wanted to write a book about. And I'm starting with this chapter. And I don't know if I would have written this chapter if I hadn't written the chapters before that and really kind of dived in there. So check that out. I will be posting more about it. I'm really proud of that piece.
Yes, please make sure you post so we
really
can, grab our copy on launch day so that we could support. Really and truly, it's if you believe in the power of storytelling, you're going to support stories, period.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the author is, it doesn't matter who the publisher is. First and foremost is the love for the art of storytelling and the need for the stories to get out there. So huge congratulations to you on that too.
One of the greatest things about these books I want to let people know is that in every book that he is going to put out, including the first one, there are resources in the back of the book of providers, of facilities, of locations, of grief and mental health services that people can access. And a pretty large portion, but I can't remember the percentage of every book sale goes to a fund to help people who can't afford mental health therapy.
That's incredible.
It's amazing. I'm so excited to be a part of the project.
Wow.
He's going to do it with every book.
Absolutely.
So you're not only like getting the stories of people and like their grief process and sort of all that. So you sort of have that, then you get actual professional resources for managing grief and loss, other mental health things. He's got a book coming out on addictions. So substance use and other addictions, there will be resources for people. And then, it's given back. It's given back to the cause.
So sorry.
That's okay. Definitely check it out, guys, because
that's my alarm going off for Cheech and Show.
It's more than the stories. You're going to get more from it. So
make sure you share, and we will make sure that we share. Thank you so much for your time, and really enjoyed it. I know that the people in the audience enjoyed you reading it as well, so you could go back and see the comments there.
I'm so appreciative, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I will chat with you soon, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Same. Good to see everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, guys, for being here for another episode of The Person Behind the Pen. Thank you for spending this time here with Sarah and myself. On Thursday, we have Felipe Cofino. He's a LinkedIn top voice, and he shares his story in a message to my family. I'm here and you're my legacy. If you would like to pick up your copy, it is in the QR code behind me. Just give that a scan and you can go ahead and pick your copy up today. So have a wonderful rest of your couple of days until I see you again on Thursday afternoon. Bye-bye now.